Cheers, hello. Welcome to El Dorado. Just kidding. I just feel like I'm in the movie El Dorado with these earrings, you know? Or like maybe, is it Cusco's New Groove? That's totally not it, but something along that line. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erika Jane. I like to make a lot of random videos, rather inconsistently. Coming back to you today to bring you a video that's a little bit different. I've never done one like this. I thought as I approach 26, somehow, I turned 26 years old in a few months, and I feel like I have no idea where my 20s have gone. Like, what have I done? I don't know. So I thought I would go through, or that it might be fun, to look through 25 lessons I have learned in the 25 years I have been alive. So if you follow me on my blog, put that here, you would have already seen this post, and I just thought it'd be fun to maybe make this more of a fun sit down chat like video, and just kind of share a bit more. Today we're going to be talking about 25 things I've learned in 25 years. If you'd like, grab a cup of coffee, tea, water, maybe a snack, maybe you just want to hang out. Let's talk, let's chat. I have my cow mug here. Love it, one of them. I think I have 5 cow mugs now. Only slightly obsessed. All right, enough about me. Let's get into this. Let's just be cash. Let's just sit. These are my fun socks. My mom made them. Check out her Etsy and her Ravelry here. So let's just jump right into it. These lessons have come from life, really. I mean, I'm sure you have a ton of lessons that you could teach me as well that I would have no idea about. It's really just based on what we've experienced and what has come across into our environment, into our life, that really shapes who we are. I guess going into number 1, a big thing is other people will always judge you from their own experiences and perception. And I guess what I mean by that is people are always going to judge based on their own knowledge. If they have never experienced something that you're going through, they're going to judge based on someone who's never experienced it. If they have experienced it, they might judge it in a bit of a different way. So whether we know it or not, we're always bringing our own biases to a situation. And I think that's really important to keep in mind when we are surrounded by comparisons. Like, our entire lives now are based on social media and these short snippets of being so put together that it's not even possible. So now we're in this cancel culture, this you can't make a mistake or you just get ripped apart type of culture. It sucks. It's horrible. I want no part of it whatsoever, which is why I'm not on Instagram. One of the reasons. Also, I just end up consuming, and I don't want to. Looping back around, other people are always going to judge you from their own experiences and their own internal bias. So their opinion of you is just that. It's an opinion of you. It's not you. So, on to number 2. Assumptions are dangerous. Keep asking questions. Never stop. Assumptions have been, I would say, one of the main things that have caused problems in my life. Like, looking back, like, you can't assume someone's intentions. You can't assume that you know why a person is doing it. You can't assume that you know better than someone else just because you maybe think you do. Like, you don't know. Like, we never have the full story. Regardless of how anxiety provoking that is, we will never know the whole story from every single angle. So it's important just to keep asking questions look around. I don't know. Assumptions are just very dangerous, and they can lead to a lot of problems, especially now. I really noticed this a lot when I started working in the like legitimate workforce, like when I had an actual job. People just assume, like if you just assume, oh, they've got it handled, like they're gonna get it done. They might not have any idea that they're supposed to be doing it, and now you've just assumed, they've got it, they're taken care of. You never bring it up, you never ask them if they're gonna take care of it, and then it never gets done. 3 weeks down the road, you're like, where is this? No, I thought that so-and-so was working on it. Oh, you never said he was working on it. Like, see? You just see how, like, that's a super simple example, but it can go into everything. It can go into rumors, it can go into gossip, it can go, just becomes very toxic very fast. So watch out when you start assuming. Number 3, you will never know everything about everything. This kind of stems off number 2, I guess. We will never have all of the answers. We will never know everything. No matter if we have studied a subject for 10,000 hours, there is probably still something we could learn. Someone could come into the field the next day and find a new way of doing something. Learning is constant. Change is continuous and really the only permanent in your life. Which goes into number 4. Change is the only permanent. And for a while, this was really hard for me. I think I struggled with, I know I struggle with anticipatory anxiety, and just, if I don't have a full list, exhibit A, but like, before I used to have to plan my days so intensely that if something changed or if someone interrupted me while I was doing one of those tasks, I just went into a spiral and could not get back into the task I was doing. Like, an interruption just totally sent me into a loop because I couldn't predict it. So this has been quite a long and, I guess, intense learning process. It's taken some therapy, it's taken a lot of tears, a lot of uncomfortable moments, and just learning to both grieve, I guess, like in some way, this lack of control. Like, for a really long time, that was kind of a survival method for me in my childhood. I couldn't control the reactions around me, so I would try and anticipate and create an environment where maybe a reaction wouldn't happen. So now it's left me in kind of like, if I can't control a situation, I feel very chaotic and very out of control, and I'm really trying to rein that in, and that's been, I don't know, slowly progressing and slowly improving, I would say, every day. And a lot of that has been acknowledging that change is the only thing you can count on, like, and breathing a lot. I feel like I'm getting like very off topic by each point every time, but we'll just see where this goes here. Number 5. It is okay to say no. To all my empaths, my people pleasers, all of you out there, you can say no. No is a full and complete sentence. You can just say it, and you don't have to give that person an explanation if you don't want to. Wild, so wild to me. And I am still learning how to use the word no, and transitioning into actually saying no. One thing that's really helped is being able to say, can I get back to you on that? Or I'll let you know this time. Like, I'll confirm with you then. And then when you get asked a question, or if someone like throws something at you kind of like out of the blue, which I do not do well with, it kind of gives you a chance to actually, okay, go back, go inward a little bit, think of what you're actually feeling, and if you want to do this. And slowly it will become a bit easier. I have started to recognize like certain situations I just don't want to be in anymore, so those are becoming a little bit easier to say no. But yeah, it'll be different for everyone. But that is a big thing I have learned. You're allowed to say no. Some people will be disappointed, but you're allowed to say no for your own life, to do what you need to do. Crazy. Okay, moving on to 6, which kind of relates to number 5. You are not responsible for another person's reaction. So if you are not deliberately trying to hurt a person and you are just existing in the world as you are, and someone for some reason finds that offensive or is upset that you are putting boundaries in place to help you thrive, you are not responsible for their toxic reaction. You are not responsible for their blow up, their, I don't know, manipulative response basically towards you. You are not responsible for doing things to please everyone around you. You are allowed to do things that make you feel okay and feel comfortable before setting yourself on fire basically to keep everyone else warm. So, good thing to keep in mind. And I guess a big difference there, or something I try to keep in mind, it's not like you were intentionally trying to upset someone and then you're like, I'm not responsible, huh? You got upset, not my fault. But like when someone is trying to manipulate you, trying to take advantage of you, try to, like, I guess there's a lot of different situations, but you are allowed to say no, you are allowed to respond how you need to respond, and you're not responsible for their reaction. You can actually remove yourself from that situation. I mean, easier said than done, for sure. Especially if you have been in some of those toxic relationships or toxic environments, you know it is easier said than done to just walk away or be like, I'm not responsible. But trying to, I don't know, I guess in those moments, sorry, let me just fix this. When I am struggling with taking on others' emotions and others' reactions, I find it really helpful to start journaling and just look at why I'm taking this on. Do I feel guilty? Did I do something wrong? Usually I haven't, and usually it's just I feel uncomfortable that they're upset and I'm trying to fix it, which it's not necessarily my place to fix it or even try to fix it. So yeah, that's a big part of it as well. Which kind of goes into number 7. You are responsible for unlearning your toxic habits. Yeah. I mean, we're all capable of being toxic. Just as humans, we have good and evil in us, and we are all so capable of being total assholes. And we all know it. Like, you know it. You know it inside. You can be an asshole. I know I can be an asshole. Like, we know. So it's important to be aware of this in yourself and that you are capable of being toxic and committed to choosing not to be, and committed to choosing growth and compassion when sometimes the easier option is being toxic and is being an asshole. But kind of going inside yourself and choosing, all right, okay, no one is deliberately seeking discomfort. We are all trying to avoid it. Most likely, this person reacting, this person contributing to the toxic environment has gone through worlds of hurt. Does not excuse their actions, but it can kind of give you, I find it a little bit easier to empathize when I can see them for what they are, a human going through life. And it's not easy. It's not easy for a lot of people. And I think when we have the option and the capability to try and choose empathy and compassion, I think we should. That's what I've learned. Because you really don't know what's going on in someone's life, and the more you know, the more you'll realize. But yeah, we never will have all the information about what's going on with the people in front of us. So choosing to unlearn those toxic habits that you carry and maybe put out onto other people really can make a huge difference in the world. And I'm not putting that, like, I'm not trying to exaggerate that. I'm being serious. Like, one of your actions can carry on to like 100 people in your immediate vicinity. Whereas if you're an asshole to that person, chances are there's going to be a lot of shitty actions that carry on to a lot of other people as well. Whereas if you were just to hold the door open, smile, like, that could just snowball into something, and that's just one little thing. Number 8, acknowledging your feelings is a sign of emotional strength. Now, I don't mean just like aggressively sobbing and screaming, being, I'm upset, I'm angry. Like, yes, you are acknowledging your emotions, but being able to rationally express your emotions in, I guess, a kind way where you're not like, you are saying how you feel, but you're not saying that person's a horrible person and they made you feel this way. Like, you're acknowledging how you feel and how you feel hurt, and I guess that is a big sign of emotional strength, and actually being able to have a conversation about what you're feeling without it turning into, okay, you did this, you did that. Like, that is a very big sign of emotional strength, because, I don't know, I think it's a very big misconception where often, like, people are like, being the bigger person just means like shutting up and keeping your mouth shut. But for me, I think being the bigger person is being able to admit what you're feeling, acknowledge what you're feeling, voice it, and try and communicate with the people around you. Whether it's like your emotions are affecting them or whether you feel influenced by them, just being able to actually acknowledge what you're feeling to the people around you, I think, is a huge, huge strength. Like, huge. And it's not that easy. Like, if you are struggling to acknowledge what you're feeling, you are not alone. Like, it is so hard, and I think it's becoming harder and harder when we are constantly looking at a screen and never actually thinking inwardly of what we're feeling. Like, we're never like, yeah, you know what, I'm actually kind of tired right now. Like, we don't just take a moment to breathe or recognize what's going on inside of us. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's a very big and powerful thing to be able to do, and to recognize what you're feeling inside of you. Number 9, like, all you can control is how you respond and what energy you put into the world. As frustrating as it can be, you can't control the people around you, and you can't control what they do. You can't control what they say. You can't control how they're going to react to you. You can't control the energy they bring into the world. All you can do is control your own. And I read something recently that, I don't know, really helped with this. Like, don't be a light switch. Focus on your internal energy. When something changes around you, does your mood immediately drop? Does it immediately change? Being able to kind of moderate, I guess, and manage your own emotions and not having them be dependent on the world and all the people around you, I think is a huge skill. And personally, it's something I'm still really working on. I definitely let other people influence me quite a bit, and that has been a big problem for me in terms of kind of toxic relationships, and I'm seeing my part in it now. I feel like it is my responsibility for how people react. So that is how I have been living for a while, and I'm trying to transition out of that. Because all I can control is myself, and all I can control is the energy that I put out. And yes, if someone's screaming at me or horribly angry around me, I will probably still be affected a little bit. I'm gonna try not to let it affect me, but now I guess I have a bit more tools and skills that I can use in terms of coping with it. So now I guess I recognize it's not my responsibility to sort that out. I can actually walk away from those situations, and that's hard. And that is something that really you just kind of learn as you go and as you push through these experiences. Like, you can walk away. If someone's screaming at you on the phone, you can hang up. Like, these little things where these are your boundaries. If you're putting these up and you don't let people yell at you, you don't let people talk shit about you, like, to your face. Obviously you can't control what they say behind your back, but you can hang up, you can end that conversation, and they might be downright pissed off and upset, and they can sit with that, because you are going to be in your own peace and walk away from that toxic environment. And then what I'm starting to learn is you will notice who actually cares about your well-being and who is maybe taking advantage of you beforehand. And they will be pretty upset that you're putting yourself first. So yeah, as you start to grow, as you start to move forward, you're going to recognize what you have control over and what you can do for your life and what you have control over. That was quite a long-winded response. Number 10. Okay, I don't think this is totally in the order that my blog is, but it does have all the same information. Number 10. Spending more money up front may actually save you more money in the long run. Now, I know this isn't an option for everyone. It's not really an option for us right now either. But in some situations it has been, and it has been super beneficial when we're able to invest up front. So I guess one example I'm thinking of is our car. So we previously bought a used car, and like within the month of buying it, they told us we were going to have to pay like over $3,700 to get it back on the road and for it to pass safety, and we had just put $2,000 like to buy the actual vehicle. So we were like, oh, okay, cool. So we either just keep putting money into this vehicle continuously, not feel confident we can get anywhere, not feel safe on the road in this car, and then it took us months. We went like a period of time without a car as well, because we just didn't really know what we wanted to do there. But it ended up making the most sense to buy the car new, because of how low the interest rate were. So it was cheaper to buy it new than to buy a used car, which most of them are at like 15% interest, which is stupid. Like, you were going to be paying like an extra $20,000 on top of what you already spent. So that's where they get you. So we ended up being able to buy a car up front and new, and we had some money saved. So that was why we were able to do that. And that has saved us a ton of money on repairs, on maintenance, just on so much, because knock on wood, we have not had any substantial repairs. Like, we've had to get the oil change, simple maintenance, and that has been it. Knock on wood. Another thing where that, like, spending more up front can kind of be beneficial, I would say, would be grocery shopping. And I wasn't really able to do this until maybe a couple of years ago. But when I was in university, I was just like buying what I needed, like here and there, and that was way more expensive than buying in bulk. So like when you're like Superstore, for example, or your grocery store, and you're getting like a small pack of spices, so like a jar here right now is probably upwards of $9 for like this size. Barely anything. If you were to go to Costco, which is the wholesale kind of membership place here, a lot of people know Costco. Who am I kidding? it is way cheaper. You can pay the same price but end up with like 4 times the amount of product that you would have gotten at the grocery store. So that's how we have been able to save a lot of money and also just invest in better quality food, because that's a priority for us, I guess. Number 11, it's not worth being in debt just to fit in with the crowd. This is a hard one, and this has been one that I have struggled to learn for so long. And I can feel myself get sucked back into it when I spend a lot of time just like looking online, or like all of a sudden I'm on a shopping website, or like if I go on Facebook and then I start seeing, like, I'm not on Instagram because I find Instagram just very unhealthy for me. I just can't consume it in a moderate way. So I just don't. And that was a big problem for me previously. So online shopping, buying all of the latest new things, just trying to fit what I thought people wanted to see. And I was so unhappy, like so unbelievably unhappy. I was wasting all my money going to bars. I don't like to drink. Like, I have half a drink and I feel like I'm gonna throw up. My stomach looks like I'm about 7 months pregnant. Like, it is just not for me. And I have horrible social anxiety that makes me just want to go inside out and run out of the bar as soon as I'm there. So unless I am blackout drunk, I don't have any enjoyment. And then if I'm blackout drunk, I also don't have any enjoyment. So these have been really hard and uncomfortable lessons to learn, and I have had to say no to a lot of things, which before I did not want to do and I didn't think I could do. And even thinking about it now, I'm like, oh my God. Just the response from people. Like, when you're in this age group and you are choosing to do what's right for you, for some reason, it's like, I don't know, people think you're being the worst person ever. Like, that's a lot of the response I've gotten. Not from everyone, but when you are deliberately trying to take care of yourself and saying no to the social norms and the social pressures, you're gonna lose some people. You're gonna lose some friends along the way, or people you thought were friends but just cared kind of about the societal aspect of it. And yeah, that's hard. I guess that's just kind of a part of growing up though as well. You realize people's true intentions and you either keep growing together or you end up kind of growing apart. Which kind of goes into number 12. Not everyone has the same intentions as you. And this one can be hard in terms of expectations, or I don't know, just like getting your feelings hurt, I find personally. If we go about our lives expecting everyone to treat us exactly how we would treat them or how we would react in a situation, we're gonna be horribly disappointed, because no one is the same person as you. No one has the same thoughts as you. No one has been through the same slew of experiences all combined into your being. Like, no one has the same intentions as you. So if we expect someone to interpret something in a way we would, we're gonna be pretty annoyed. Like, are you kidding? You can't do this? Maybe they've never seen something like that before. Maybe this is totally foreign to them and they have no idea what we're even talking about. So that one can be put across so many categories. In relationships, in workplaces, in school, in public, like even just how we move around in the world as well. Like, people don't have the same intentions as us. So yeah, good to keep in mind. 13. There's no point in arguing with someone who's committed to not hearing you. And that's what I'm still working on, because sometimes I do get a little fired up and I do, like, why are you hearing me? You're not getting what I'm saying. What the hell? What? Some people literally never will. Some people are choosing not to hear what you're saying. They think in their mind they just know, and they are committed to not hearing your opinion, hearing what you have to say. It's not everyone, but there are these people out there. So recognizing when maybe there really isn't a point in arguing and you're better off just walking away from the situation. It's hard. It's really hard to just walk away from a conversation where you want to respond, you want to explain yourself, you want to scream it from the rooftops. Like, it's really hard, because when you are having a conversation with those people, that's almost the reaction that they're trying to look for sometimes, and it can just end up getting fed back into this circle. So recognizing when someone is not trying to actually hear you and does not want to resolve the situation, that's really helpful to be able to recognize that. And really, it just comes with time. And I still have experiences where I don't really know if people are trying to actually hear me, or if you know what I mean? It's definitely just moving through the world, seeing how things go, type of lesson. Number 14, get out of your hometown. Even if it's only an hour away, even if it's for an afternoon, a day, a week, just get out of your hometown for some period of time. I don't think I realized how stuck I was, honestly, in like a fishbowl until I left my hometown after high school. And I was so excited. I was so ready to get the heck out of Dodge. I was like, nope, I'm leaving. I'm moving across the country. I don't care, I'm going. And by the time I got to university and I guess experienced my first year, I was an entirely different person. Like, I was forced to grow up and just, I guess, not right away, but it put me in a position where I had to take accountability for myself and the person that I was becoming, and recognize, I guess, what habits I want to continue, because no one's gonna force you to keep them in place. Like, you are on your own. You are an individual. What you do is your responsibility. How you react is your reaction. That's on you. It's not on anyone else. So, I don't know, leaving my hometown really put that in perspective, that there are millions of people in this world, and everyone is going through something that we know nothing about. Explain the things you learn when you step out of your comfort zone, or what you thought you knew, like what you were so confident in and in yourself, like, yeah, I know this town, I know this place, like, yeah, I know, like, I don't know. It puts you in an entirely different perspective when you're in a different place, a different town, a different province. I don't know. It's been life-changing for me, and I would recommend that to anyone and everyone. Get out of your hometown if you can, even if it's for a week, even if it's for an afternoon. Well, yeah, just meet some new people. Huge thing. 15. This is a little off topic now. You'll get back the work you put in. Hard work is so worth it. And I think for a while I struggled with this, because in university you see a lot of people where things just come very easily to them. There are those people that exist in the world where they can just think they've got it. They study, they remember it. They exist in the world in a little bit smoother way than I've ever been able to imagine myself exist in the world. But there is something to be said for hard work and getting yourself the results you want to see, and like knowing that it all comes from you, I think is really empowering. Go into like a lot of different areas, I found with school, this was a big one, in terms of studying for midterms, stuff like that. I always had to study quite a bit longer than most people. It just takes me a little bit longer to get things. And it's kind of always been that way. Like, I get it about the time that the test is over, and then it's kind of clicked in my brain. And then if like the test was a week later, I'd probably be okay. But it just takes me like a little bit longer than the average person. So realizing, I don't know, I guess recognizing my work ethic has been really huge for me, because I'm not great on tests, but I am the hardest working, like I am so fucking hard work, it's not even a word, but I am very proud of my work ethic, and if you give me a problem or something you want accomplished, I will do everything in my power to get it done as well and as like quickly and sufficiently as I can. Like, I don't really know how to explain this, but hard work is really worth it. Like, staying in those extra few hours to just like grind something out and like seeing, I don't know, the aftermath of your work and what you've done is so rewarding. Seeing your hard work actually pay off is incredible, and no one can get you there but you. So knowing that it's your hard work that got you there is also, I don't know, it's empowering for me, and I find it very rewarding, because just, you tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna freaking do it. So yeah, 15, you'll get back the work you put in. Might not be right away, but it will come down the line. 16, no one has it all put together. And I mean no one. This has been something I did not even think was true up until a couple of years ago. I just did not think it was possible that like the people that look so outwardly put together actually aren't sometimes. I don't know. Did you have this misconception when you were a kid that like all adults just knew like some secret, like they just like leveled up and all of a sudden just like received all this knowledge of how to be a functional adult? I thought that happened, and then I became an adult age-wise and nothing changed. So recognizing that none of us have it all put together, and we are all humans learning as we go. Like, your parents are growing up at the same rate really that you're growing up as well. Like, we're growing with them. They are learning with us. They didn't have practice kids before you to practice on. Like, they're learning live time. We are learning in the game. Everyone is. And if someone says they know everything and they have it all put together, they are liars. So just know, you are not broken for not having it all together. You are perfectly imperfect, just as you are, as the wonderful human being you are in this world. And that is hard to realize, that you, just as you are, have value. Like, you bring something to the world as you are. Yeah, I guess that, circling back to no one has it all put together, it's hard not to put this pressure on yourself to have it all put together, especially when, coming back to social media, that's really all we see. We see these short little snippets of people with these like super aesthetically pleasing like morning coffees and morning routines and like all of this. It's like, okay, but how did they get to that point? Why are they sitting there taking a picture of their cup of coffee, but they're not just enjoying their cup of coffee? Like, it's almost just for an approval, and it's not like they're actually enjoying their moment for them. That's kind of where I go, kind of how I feel. And once I kind of stopped trying to romanticize or force these, like, I don't know, aesthetic moments, I started to become a little bit more present in the moment I was in, because I wasn't trying to create it to look a certain way. I was kind of just existing in it. And that's been hard. And even this morning, I woke up just writhing in anxiety because I knew I had to go somewhere today. So yeah, it's not an overnight fix. It is constant, lifelong learning. That's life. That's life. Sorry. I know this looks like you can smoke out of it, which you can, but I haven't, so I'm just drinking coffee, I swear, right now. 17. This kind of goes off what I was talking about. Presence is more valuable than presence. So your physical presence and being actually there in the moment is worth so much more than anything can buy, anything you can buy in a store. If you are trying to give someone the world and yet you are sitting there just scrolling on your phone saying you care about them, your actions don't really meet your words. Like, yes, you can go out and buy something for someone and spend a whole bunch of money on them, like, woo, okay. But have you ever listened to them talk? Do you know what keeps them up at night? Do you know what they want to do? Do you know how they feel? Like, presence, your actual physical presence is so valuable, and I think we have totally lost sight of that with our phones, with this ability to connect just immediately. Like, I don't know about you, but I feel so disconnected when I'm talking to someone on FaceTime or any video chat, really. I can't. I don't pick up on people's body language. I don't know. It's just too much of a disconnect, and it doesn't feel like I'm actually interacting with the person. Like, I don't know. That's been a really hard thing for me with COVID and stuff. Probably shouldn't say that. You know, the thing that is keeping us indoors. The dictator. Fucking Canada. Yeah, so your presence, I guarantee you the people who care about you would way rather you be there just as you are than try and buy something for them or try and spend all your money on some physical gift. Going into number 18, no one can advocate for you but you. And I don't know, I've always struggled with this. I've always kind of wanted, like, okay, maybe if I just don't say anything, I won't have to speak up, or I won't have to tell anyone how I'm actually feeling. And it never gets resolved. You never move forward. You never acknowledge what's going on with you, and then you're constantly like, why isn't anyone helping me? It's on you, man, that's why. And that has been uncomfortable to learn. I think for a while, both with my physical health and my mental health, I was kind of at a point where I had just given up, and I was like, all right, well, the doctors can't figure it out. No one wants to help me. Like, no one will get me an appointment. And it's like, I wasn't trying to get better. I wasn't choosing things that were better for me. I was just expecting someone to, like, fix me. Which is not possible. Like, there is no quick fix. There is no pill, sadly, that can just fix us. It's work, and you gotta put it in. That's the only person who can put it in is you. So yeah, going back to that, no one can advocate for you but you. And this is huge, both in terms of your medical health, your work experience, your school experience. If you're not speaking up or telling someone how you feel or what's affecting you, they're never gonna know. And most people do want to resolve those problems. Like, most normal, considerate, kind people do want to hear what's going on and will help if they can help. So, like, if you're just complaining about how something gets removed, like right now it's winter, so I'm just like thinking snow removal. If you're just complaining to anyone and everyone who will listen about this, but you're not actually telling the person who does it, you are the problem in this situation. Like, you are creating this problem. You could solve it. You could just message that man and be like, hey, this has really been bothering me. Like, this hasn't been, like, I don't know. Speak up. Tell them what's going on. No one can advocate for you but you. Sorry. Yeah, we can learn this one together. / we can't. But I hope as I learn, you will also be learning as well. Number 19. We're getting close, guys. We're almost at an hour. I don't know how long this will be. 19. We don't have a right to anyone else's time or work. And I think this is slapping a lot of people in the face right now, mainly with a lot of frontline healthcare workers going, teachers, educators, truck drivers, the list goes on. A lot of people are leaving the workforce right now, and yeah, we don't have a right to their time. We don't have a right to their work. If they don't feel like they're being treated fairly, yeah, that's fair. I'd fucking leave too. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think we have created such an immediate, like, a society so obsessed with immediate gratification and thinking everything can happen just, I want a cheeseburger, let me fucking, cheeseburger. That's not how it works. There is another person like me and you on the other side of that system. We don't have a right to anyone else's time or work. This expectation for, I don't know, I don't even know what to describe it. Like, it's consumerism to an extreme, but it's just getting downright scary. Yeah, we actually don't have a right to anyone's work, anyone's existence, anyone's help. If they are choosing to help or choosing to work where they are, that is totally on them. And they're allowed to leave. They are allowed to walk out. Yeah, that's a crazy concept, isn't it? You don't actually have a right to anyone. Yes. It's all up to you. We need to take ownership for ourselves and the things we need in life. If we're freaking out saying we can't get, like, we're out of this, we have none of this, there's none of this. Okay, what can you do? What were you doing in the first place? Do you produce this item? Do you grow your own food? Do you know how to sew your own clothes? Can you start a fire and cook something? These are all skills that we can take and we can learn, and we can empower ourselves. Because up until quite recently, a lot of these skills we actually knew and were passed down, and we weren't entitled to anyone's time or work. And if they could help us out, they could, right? All right, I think I'm getting off topic on there a little bit, so we will jump to number 20. I have talked a little bit about this in a previous video, which I will link above. You don't need conventional birth control to abstain from pregnancy. Crazy. Just going on 3 years for myself being off the birth control pill, and physically I am feeling way better than I was on the pill, and even mentally as well. If you're looking for more information on that, I will include the link here. Number 21. It's okay to walk away from relationships that don't offer you peace. So this is hard, and I think a lot of people struggle with this. I do, for one, in terms of family relationships, because just because someone's blood related to you does not mean they treat you with respect or treat you how a person should be treated. And I think this has been something that a lot of people struggle with. There are a lot of, I feel like every family has something. We're all dealing with something that we don't really know. And I don't know, it's harder to walk away from these relationships that are hurting you or hindering your life when it's a family member. And I'm not saying you have to, and I'm not saying you need to. I'm just saying that you are allowed to choose your peace over maintaining a relationship. Yeah, you can walk away for your health. You are allowed to. You deserve to. 22. Your body knows before your brain. Trust your gut. This one, I've tried to push down a few times and she just keeps coming back. You know when you just get that feeling in your stomach and you're like, oh, something's not right here. Like, this vibe, this energy, something here is not sitting well. You don't really know why. Oftentimes you're right, and more times than not, when I've actually given myself the time to think about it, usually my gut's right, and I either need to leave that situation, or it's not serving me anymore, or something along those lines. But actually listening to my body and recognizing when it's trying to tell me something. I guess a good example would be toxic work environments. I've been in a couple of those, and I'm recognizing now that it's partially me as well, because I am such a people pleaser. I accept the toxicity, I accept it, and like, oh yeah, tell me, I'll do everything, tell me what to do. So I'm working on that and putting up my own boundaries. But in terms of that, like a few workplaces I worked in, towards the end of it, I knew I shouldn't be there. I knew it wasn't okay to be working there. Like it was just killing me, physically killing me. And it was at the point where I was physically vomiting before going to work because of how stressed I was and how like, I was not okay. So recognizing that now, looking back, my body had been trying to tell me to get the hell out for months, and I didn't listen, and it just got a ton worse. And yeah, I ended up being on medical leave for like over a year. So listen to your body, because it knows, and trust your gut. There are other windows that will open. 23. We're almost at the end here. Okay. Everyone is doing their best to avoid discomfort. And I think I mentioned this earlier off of one of the other points, but this really helps me snap out of kind of my like petty modes when I'm just like, what the hell? Why did this person do this? It's like, I don't know. Maybe something happened. Maybe they were rushing around. I have no idea what's going on in their life or what brought them to this point where we're kind of crossing paths. So recognizing that everyone's doing their best to get through their own experiences and just choosing your response based on that. I found that very helpful. 24. Kindness is worth more than anything. And I mean, like, literally anything. If you do your job perfectly well, if you are never late, if you are, like, you do everything perfectly, your outfits are on point, in whatever way that means, you drive a nice car, I don't know, but then you're a raging asshole to everyone you interact with, or you belittle anyone who talks to you, I don't think you're that great of a person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can have everything materialistically, superficially on the outside, but if you're a shitty person, what do you have? Like, kindness and empathy is what is going to continue to make this world go round. Like, if we are choosing to be shitty to someone intentionally, then what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, are you really in that big of a rush that you can't hold open the door for that person? Are you really in that big of a rush that you can't let that person take that turn? Like, our world revolves around these little acts of kindness that we are just putting out into the universe. And I personally think kindness is the be-all end-all. If you are doing everything right but you're not being kind, you're not doing anything right. That's kind of where I think with that. I guess what I've learned too, like, any experience, you choose to be kind rather than, okay, I'm just gonna get my stuff done, grab this and get out of here, and just like, not that great, right? I don't know. Okay. Last one, the final one. Some people are gonna be upset by the way your light shines. Keep shining. Keep freaking shining. Turn the brightness up and blind them. Not actually, but you know. There will be people who are gonna be upset for literally anything. And almost it's like that's what they want. They want to be upset about something. They want to scream about something. They want the attention from it. I'm not really sure. Some people are going to be upset if you're smiling. Like, things just like that. That is what I've learned. People will literally be upset at you just for the way you exist in the world. So learning to not take that inwards and onto your character or you personally is a great skill, but also a hard skill to learn. And I just want you to know that you are wonderful as you are, and recognizing your value and who you are right now is so important. And yes, there are things we can all work on. There are things that I'm choosing to work on as well right now, but we still have value while we are working on them. So I'd just like to end this video saying thank you for watching, for sticking around. We're at an hour here now. I'm not sure how long this will end up being. But yes, thank you. I want to send some love and just positive energy into the world. There's a lot of really scary stuff happening, and I'm finding it hard not to be consumed by that on a daily basis, and just choosing to find quiet moments for myself, and times when maybe I just get lost in Animal Crossing and stop thinking for a while, because we all need to do that. But thank you so much for watching. Here are 25 lessons I've learned in 25 years. I hope this gave you some entertainment. Maybe it just gave you some laughs or some smiles for the day. Maybe it didn't and you just turned it off. Either way, I appreciate your presence here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and you find some restful moments for you. All right, Erika Jane out. I'm gonna finish this coffee.